Hello, greetings, everyone. This is Daniel Mambono. I'm back again and welcome to African Broadcasting Agency. Welcome to United States of Africa. It's very important for us to continue speaking against injustice, against people of African descent, wherever they are. We have to firmly defend the interests of Africa without feeling apology or being scared of what they'll think about us. Our voice is the most powerful weapon against oppression, against systematic abuse of people of African descent wherever they are. And not even Facebook should silence us. The more they censure us, the more we should increase our voices. United States of Africa is deeply saddened by the sudden demise of Nelson Mandela's youngest daughter, Zinzi Mandela, and I send my sincere condolences to her family and to the people in South Africa and to the entire African nation at large. We are very saddened with this bad news we received from South Africa, and stand with the people of South Africa during this difficult time. We remember Zinzi Mandela as a fierce freedom fighter, an African liberator who never gave up, and she never betrayed her people in regards to the fight for Black liberation. She stood for justice for people of African descent in South Africa. We also believe that the people in South Africa deserve the right to get their land back. They deserve to be compensated for illegal use of their land. When the Europeans were coming to South Africa, they didn't sign an agreement with the natives and come up with terms how they are going to use their land. They took it by force, so they do not have any justification to demand to be paid compensation if we decide to take back our land, because this land belongs to the native people. And therefore, we need to continue using our voices to inspire the kind of change that we want to see. I believe that working together with all Pan-Africanists around the world, we will be able to impart the kind of education that people of African descent need to move forward. The United States of Africa vision was first announced by Marcus Garvey in the famous poem "Hail United States of Africa." And since then, there have been so many activists, so many Pan-Africanists that have worked towards the realization of the United States of Africa. And we are the first to register United States of Africa as an organization that is working towards the realization of an African nation. The building of African nationhood starts within United States of Africa, and since this exists legally, we have all rights to unify Africa, to use it as a tool to attain the unity that we need as Africans. And it's only through our unity that we are going to begin addressing our problems in a manner that will begin uplifting our people, in a manner that we will demonstrate that we are in charge, that Africans are capable of providing the kind of leadership they need. We cannot be waiting for foreign aid for hundreds of years. We have to wake up and embark a journey towards self-reliance. And this pandemic is giving Africans the opportunity to be free economically. And with economic freedom, we can utilize our natural resources for our own development. So I challenge the young people around the world, the young people in Africa, to join United States of Africa and be part of this nation building exercise. In order to build a very strong nation, we need to have hardworking people who are fed up with the constant state of underdevelopment of Africa and want to bring the kind of change that we will start seeing that things are moving forward. Many countries after getting the independence, it's more of they became very stagnant. They are not developing, and even if they are developing, this kind of development is backward development, and it does not include the development of the African people. The first kind of development that Africa needs is development of the African people, ensuring that we utilize the capabilities of the African people to be able to empower them economically, to prioritize the African businesses, because if we do not promote our businesses and continue promoting these so-called foreign investors, sooner or later, because these large companies, they're going to take over the African market, and the African companies will be coming down. So we need to ensure that we support African businesses and enable them to thrive. We need also to support African businesses, the African manufacturers, by consuming products that are made in Africa, and products that we have made ourselves. We have to be proud of the brilliant minds in Africa, which are behind a lot of innovations. We have seen new products that are being manufactured throughout Africa. So we need to support the African businesses. And by supporting African businesses, it means that we are building a self-reliant economy. If we don't support African businesses, then we will open ourselves to foreign manipulation and foreign domination, and that will not be good. It's not going to be good for Africa. I'm going to share some of the. This is Kentaka. These are vehicles that are made in Ghana, and instead of promoting these foreign brands, we need to begin promoting our own brands. And the only way that we can advance is we ensure that we also become the first consumers of our own products. Because if we don't consume our own products, then it means that we'll be open to consume everything that the foreign countries are manufacturing for us. And the only way that we can develop African economy, which is self-reliant, is for us to begin creating whatever we need for happiness and civilization. I believe this is the time for Africa to reach its full potential. We need to see the African talents coming up together and supporting the United States of Africa vision. We also are expecting for African businesses to begin supporting the United States of Africa project, so that we can be able to undertake the African economic development plan that we have at hand, and also we can be able to begin developing the infrastructure that Africa needs as a nation. I believe that with the support from Africans, we are going to accomplish so much within a short period of time. And having registered the United States of Africa as an organization, this is a huge achievement, and we need to build on that so that we inspire Africans, the spirit of African nationalism, the spirit of Pan-Africanism, so that Africans drop off tribalism and nepotism, because these vices have been the cause of instability in Africa, and they have continued demolishing the foundations that were left by the founding fathers of Africa. We need to build a new Africa, which embraces the African nationality, embraces the African culture, embraces the African history, and an African nation that is driven by the power of its people, and an African nation that is excited by the progress of the African people. Because when we develop our people, we develop the entire nation, and we don't have to impose numerous taxes on the people. If we develop our people, it will be very easy for us to be able to mobilize whatever resources that we need for further development. I believe that the time for Africa has come, and this is the time that we need to continue raising our voices for African unity, because the more louder we get, the faster the message spreads. And we believe that people of African descent, wherever they are Africans, and they have a right to return to their homeland. They have the right to be given the African citizenship, and this is the ground where we are standing on in defining who is an African. Even if someone has never set foot in Africa, as long as he or she is of an African blood, that person is an African, even if that person does not admit it. We have Africans around the world, in every corner of the world, and this is our moment to work towards the unification of Africa. Thank you very much for joining. Looking forward to organizing another live event. Stay tuned and keep sharing and following United States of Africa.